Hello, my name is Francisco Martinez, and today I'm going to speak to you about the Apocrypha. Um, the Apocrypha, these are the books that are considered part of that, and it's the additions to the Book of Esther, Baruch, Bel and the Dragon, Ecclesiasticus or Ben Sira, First Esdras, Second Esdras, Judith, Letter of Jeremiah, First Maccabees, Second Maccabees, Third Maccabees, and Fourth Maccabees. The prayer of Azariah, the prayer of Manasseh, Psalm 151, Susanna, Tobit, and Wisdom of Solomon. What is the Apocrypha? Apocrypha means hidden away. And so what that means is that these books have been hidden away or just removed during the whole Protestant Reformation. These books were removed from the Bible. And so basically the Bible that we have today is the outcome of that. There are still like the Bible, the Catholic Bible and the Orthodox Bible still have some of these books in their Bibles, but the Protestant ones don't. And so they were removed for a lot of reasons, really. But we'll get into that later. These books were written during the 400 silent years, which is between 400 BC to 1st AD. And it was during, basically in our Bibles, we have Malachi as the last one. And then after that, we have nothing until Matthew. And so it's during that silent, during the period where there's nothing, that these books were written. So why don't we have the Apocryphal books in our Bible today? One of the biggest things is that Jesus really never quotes from any Apocryphal books. That doesn't mean like either directly or paraphrasing, like he like at all didn't reference it, didn't like and anything. And in all the scriptures that we have, there's no mention or anything of that of the Apocryphal book. And it's because even back then, the Apocryphal books were not regarded as scripture at all. They're considered ecclesiastical texts, which means they're meant to be read in a church for edification, but not as doctrine. What that means is that there is a lot of benefits from reading these texts, from reading these books, and we'll get into that in the next slides. But these are never meant to be considered as like scripture, as how you read this and like get this to how you live your life and all this and that, as compared to the other books that we have in the Bible. But like I said, there are benefits of reading these books. It does gives us a history about what happened during those 400 7 years. Because regardless if we don't have any books or anything like that, of what God was saying or doing or anything like that, there were still things happening during that time. And so it gives us, like I said, events about what happened. Two of the biggest things that really happened during those 400 years was the Hellenization crisis and Maccabean revolt. The Hellenization crisis, sorry, basically is Alexander the Great tried introducing the Greek culture to the Jews. And so he never really banned any Jewish traditions or anything like that, but he did want them to be influenced by their culture. And so he introduced that. Really, the older generations, the older Jews, were very against it, didn't want to lose any tradition or anything like that. Now the younger ones didn't care. They wanted to go with basically the new culture. And so there was a lot of conflict between that. An example of that was the Maccabean revolt. There was a lot of zealous Jews that revolted against the Hellenistic people and their custom, the people who accepted Greek culture. And it's because of what they were doing, how they were treating their temples. They were following like pagan customs and all that. And so they said these zealous Jews fought and basically made a revolution against them. And so the day they claimed that they removed all that was the day where Hanukkah started, or the Feast of Lights, and it's basically in commemorance of that. There's also, like I said, other benefits like theological and spiritual benefits. There's text in these books that doesn't align with scripture. And so that just even shows you, teaches you of what to follow and what not to follow. And so there's some that talks about purgatory. And so it basically contradicts Hebrews 9:27. And so just as people are destined to die once and after that to face judgment. And so basically, like, whatever we do here on earth while we're alive, that will determine what will happen on the day of judgment, whenever we go face to face to God. And so with this, there was a lot of people that would say that they would pray basically after someone had died, so that their sins may be forgiven, so that they can still be able to make it to heaven. And so, but that obviously is false. Another thing is almsgiving. In 1 Timothy 6:18-19, it says, command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. In this way, they will lay up treasures for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life. And so in some of the Apocrypha books, there's a lot of talks about how whatever you, by buying stuff or giving money or anything like that, that will allow you to also store up heavenly treasures, which they were interpreting it as they're able to access like heaven, or anything like that. Whereas that's not true. It's the way you live your life, your faith, and all that that will determine all that. The prayer of Azariah also show, but there are some benefits of that. And so the prayer of Azariah does show that, is that his prayer is basically to God saying like he knows that they've messed up, that God is so good. God is so good. And that he knows that the reason why Israel and him are suffering is because of the way they have treated God. And so, yeah, that is basically the Apocrypha books.